Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I am whispering today because my kids aren't napping. This is when I get this done, and I am going to prepare you now to tell you that this will be a longer video. It has to be long. There's no way to cut it short and sweet. So go grab a snack, maybe a cup of coffee, or whatever you want to do. But and I also suggest to grab a pen and paper if this is something that you are wanting to learn how I do it. You will need a pen and paper. So pause now and go do that, and I'm just gonna jump into this. So I made a list of everything I do because to me it's so second nature at this point that in order to explain it to someone else of how I do this, I literally had to sit here and write it out because I was forgetting certain things and I wasn't saying it, I wasn't thinking it right, because I just do it. It's just second nature for me that I needed to write it down so I could speak it properly, if that makes sense. So anyways, so what I'm going to start with, you probably came on this video to learn about refrigerator organization, meal prepping as well, and what I do when I get home from the grocery store. And I want you to understand that this list is so important to all three of those things. If I don't do this list, it'll be fine. The world will not come to an end, but I will tell you now, everything will be harder, it'll take longer, and majority of everything I want to get done will not get done if I don't do this list. These are my tried and true, what I have to do in order to have a successful, quick, efficient time. If you haven't caught on by now, you will learn that I am all about efficiency. Work smarter, not harder. So let's just get into it. I pretty much wrote these in the order that I do them as well, for the most part. First things first, on the day you go grocery shopping, make this day a crock pot meal. You are going to be meal prepping food, dinners, snacks, all the things that most likely you will not have time to then think about the dinner for that night. 1, 2, you don't want to be cooking all of this food and prepping all the snacks and cleaning the fridge and all that stuff on the same day that you then have to go cook a meal. So if you plan for this day to be a crock pot meal that gets, like, you don't even have to worry about dinner because it's already done. Also, you want a crock pot meal because, again, most likely you're not going to want to be cooking by the time you get done with all of this. And a lot of times, if you don't have a crock pot meal, you or your family ends up eating all of the stuff that you just prepped, and it goes out the window. It's completely pointless that you prepped all of that food because it's practically gone by the time you are done at the end of the day. Crock pot meal. Excuse me. 2, you want to have a clean kitchen before you start. You want everything, like the counters, to be cleaned off and clean. You want an empty sink. Empty sink. If I can shout that from the rooftops. You want an empty sink and an empty dishwasher. So all the dishes clean and put away. If you do not do this, you will be so overwhelmed by the end of the day, because not only will you have the whole day's dishes of kids' snacks, maybe even the day before's dishes, then you will have all the dishes that meal prepping causes. And you will be so overwhelmed and exhausted by the end of the day by doing all of this, that's the last thing you're gonna do. And then what happens is the next day you have even more dishes, and you're now not being efficient because you end up in the end you end up doing more work than was even gained by meal prepping. So the time that you're supposed to be saving, you end up doing by just cleaning up after yourself. So start with a clean kitchen, everything like a clean slate, all your counters empty and cleaned, your kitchen sink empty and clean, and dishwasher empty. That way, when you're done meal prepping, all you have to do is rinse everything off and put it in the dishwasher. So your crock pot dinner will be done by the end of the night, and you'll have no dishes, and it'll be super easy cleanup. Next is to clean your refrigerator. I really hope that you are not going grocery shopping when you have a fridge full of food or a pantry full of food. If that's the case, stop right now. Do not go to the grocery store and go shelf shopping. So what shelf shopping is you are going to first go into your pantry, because you can't leave your refrigerator doors open that long. You are going to go into your pantry and get everything out that you can make a meal out of. Obviously, I'm not talking about like the kids' snacks, but if it's not kids' snacks, it's all meal stuff, that all needs to be out. Take it all out and put it all over your countertops, and separate them. Instead of separating them in piles, like this is all the veggies, this is all the beans, this is all the pastas, try organizing them in your pantry in order of meals. So pasta, for example, you take one thing of pasta, one thing of sauce, one thing of diced tomatoes, and maybe a pasta sauce can. All those things need to be organized in the pantry. Another one is like my homeless chili, right? Corn, diced tomatoes, black beans, chili beans, tomato sauce. Anyways, that is all in another corner. Okay, I had to pause. My daughter has not taken a nap yet, but she's not allowed out of her room until she takes a nap. Okay, so organize your pantry in order of meals, not in the order of what the product is. That way, when you are looking for a meal to make, all you have to do is grab that little section. But where I'm going with that is figure out the meals you can make with the stuff you have first. Everything should be completely gone by the time you go grocery shopping. You should have an empty fridge by the time you go grocery shopping. Your freezer should be empty when you go grocery shopping. I'm not talking about like my husband's a hunter. He kills a deer, we get it processed, and it's a ton of meat for the whole entire year. I'm obviously not talking about that. That is the point of that, is to last us all year, or hopefully, 6 months or so. But that goes in our deep freezer. That's a different freezer. Okay, so you need to have an empty fridge, empty pantry. Take that time to organize and clean it before you go and bring a ton of more stuff in. It gets a little bit overwhelming, and when you're done grocery shopping, you're done prepping your meals, the last thing you want to do is clean shelves. So do all of that before you go grocery shopping. Next, this is a big tip I've had to learn the hard way multiple times over and over again. Set your AC lower. Crank that bad boy down. Right now it's set on 71. Normally our AC is set at 74. We have a very powerful AC. So for those who don't, you might want to go lower, but 71 is like freezing in here. The reason being is you are going to be cleaning and cooking and organizing and all the things. You are going to get hot and sweaty, and nothing is more uncomfortable than being in your own house, trying to deal with food and all of that stuff, and being just like feeling gross. So set your AC lower. Next, grocery shop, right? That's the next thing on the list of things to do to go grocery shopping. Go in with a list, preferably to Aldi compared to all the other places, because they're the cheapest. I know this for a fact. You cannot argue that with me. It's not an argument. Aldi is the best, hands down. Grocery shop. Now get all your stuff. I hope you have meals for the week planned out at this point. I hope you have gone through all of your items and then figured out what you have first, then wrote your meals down, because you should be deciding what meals you're going to be having based on what you already have, not vice versa. You should not be deciding all of your meals based on what feels good or what tastes good. You should be deciding first on what you have, then what tastes good. While you're there at the grocery store, make sure, this is especially for like my mamas or whoever, especially for me, make sure to grab one of those pre-made meals while you're there. Reason being, and I always grab like the pre-made mixed salads that you just have to mix it up real quick. It's because you're going to be doing a lot of cooking, and by the time you get home, kids down for a nap, you have a very short window of time to get all of this done, and you're thinking about what meal you're going to make, what snacks you're going to make, etc. Your brain, there's no room in there to decide what you're going to have for lunch. Pick up a mixed salad, plan on eating that when you get home, because you need to do all of this on a full stomach. You will get either one, burnt out, or two, you will end up eating all your food you're prepping because you're going to be hungry. So eat before you start. I cannot say that enough. I'm halfway through, guys. Bear with me. This is long, but we're getting there. Next, at Aldi is a little bit different than most places. I do know that, but you can try and do this at other grocery stores that bag your food. Aldi, you bring your own bags. I like that better because it's you're not wasting as much, and it's just easier. So here's my tip if you go to Aldi. They do not bag your stuff for you. It was a reality shock for me when I first went in. I was very confused, no idea what to do. They have a table where their checkout is, where you can put all your food in your own bags that you brought. And trying to do that, when I first went to Aldi, I had a newborn and a toddler. Trying to do that with kids who just lasted an entire grocery shopping trip and are over it at this point, was a nightmare, because there's like this much space between the people who are coming and the room that you have to put the stuff in the bags, and people are rude. They don't care if you have a screaming baby in a sack and a toddler running circles around you while you're trying to put things in bags, and then the pasta sauce breaks, and you can tell that I had a very hard time with this. Anyways, go to your car, turn your vehicle on, get the AC cranking, then put your children in their seats and strap them down. Give them a snack, give them a pad, close the doors, take a deep breath, take a sip of water, then go to the back of your vehicle, get all of your your bags that you brought out with you, all out in your trunk, and then put the groceries in the bag. Your children are out of the way, they are safe, they are fed, and they are entertained. You can take a deep breath. You can then, because you're out at your vehicle, can take your time and put things away in an organized manner. That brings me to my next point. When you put your groceries in your bags, you need to organize them, because by you organizing your food, when you put them in the bags, that makes the time when you come home so much easier. Here's my reason. The first biggest two things that I do in organizing my bags, that like the whole entire thing is based off of, is a dry goods bag and a cold products bag. I will show you. I have two very large bin basket things that I use to take my groceries home, and one of them is for all of the things that need to go in the refrigerator and freezer. The other one is filled with all the pantry stuff. And then I have little extra bags that don't fit in those for things like grapes, bananas, breads, the things that like you would probably refrigerate, but like they don't have to be put in the refrigerator immediately. The reason being, when you get home, you're bringing all your groceries in, you are starving, your kids are starving, it's nap time, your dogs are jumping on you, it's this whole thing, right? So you bring all your groceries in, you have your one bag of cold goods that need to be put away immediately. All the rest of the bags can wait. If you have your refrigerator and freezer items mixed in through all the stuff, you then have to go through all of the groceries at that moment with kids screaming, wanting naps, whatever. And you just wasted so much time because you're now trying to deal with all of these groceries, everything having to be taken out, while putting stuff in the fridge, while throwing things on the ground because kids want snacks. And again, you can tell I've been there and I have made these mistakes. Or the alternative is to leave all of the groceries where they are and potentially let your meat or whatever, not that it would go bad by waiting an hour, but it's just not good for your meats to be sitting out. Your cheeses, things can melt depending on what you buy. Whatever, you get the gist. Make a refrigerator freezer bag separately so that way when you get home, you know exactly what to put away first. The rest can wait. Then make your pre-mixed meal, salad, make your kids snacks, sit down, put your feet up, eat your food, chug a bottle of water, put your kids down for a nap, take a deep breath. And my last biggest, two things is once you do that, light some candles. You have a clean kitchen, but you're about to have to do a lot of work. I love to have candles lit. It's just very relaxing to me. It feels very homey. So I like to have my candles lit and then start the oven. Preheat the oven. This is for your meals prepped. You start this first, you'll get yourself off for success to do things quickly. That is my list of must-dos before you start grocery shopping, meal prepping, putting everything away, organizing. This is the first half of the video. Again, this is probably going to be 30 minutes long. Bear with me. I will pretty much breeze through the rest of the video, but I do believe that all the rest is just as important. I'm just going to quickly go through everything. Okay, so here is an overview of my refrigerator before I went grocery shopping. So I have basically, here's my dairy drawer. It's empty. There's only one thing of cheese left. A little bit of spinach left and just a little bit of tomatoes left, but I will go through those first. They'll be pushed up front, so I grab those first. The things I buy will go back here. My breads, wraps. I actually did buy these wraps, so we go through them very quickly, but I will throw the wraps that I bought in the freezer because I have these. We only have one avocado left, but all the fruit is gone. These are leftovers that we will be eating. I cook potatoes individually. That way for meals, you only have to grab one as you go. That was biscuits and gravy from last night. I only have a couple eggs left. This is actually my meat that I took out when I do my crock pot. When I started my crock pot this morning, you take out the meat you're cooking and then you put another meat immediately in for the next night's dinner. That way you won't forget to defrost it. And I have one more meal that is left from my meal prep from last week that I will probably either eat tonight or tomorrow afternoon. Just have a couple sauces still in here, and then that's it. This is the chance, go through everything. So this is almost empty. No, it's pretty empty. I can throw that away. This is your chance to go through all of this stuff and see if this is halfway full. So the one I bought can go in the pantry. This is a vodka sauce that I use for my meal prepping. That's why it's half empty, but you don't have to have that many sauces. Oh, my thing's yelling at me. And then that's it. Start with a clean slate, clean your refrigerator, and then you can begin. Okay, this seems a little bit unorganized, but I promise you there is a method to my madness. Okay, once you take everything out of the bags, I normally put away all the colds first, but for this time I did not, just because I was doing this video. But normally I would put the colds away first, then deal with the rest later. But what you do is you take the stuff out of the bags, you organize them in order, because remember, time is money and you want to work smarter, not harder. If you're already touching every single item when you take them out of the bags, when you go to set them down, put them in a pile. Veggies, deli, breads, freezer items. This is top shelf. These are items that go in my baskets. I'll show you in a minute. Pantry. Pantry is also all down there as well. Those are those big bags that I keep. They're amazing for grocery shopping, as well as going to the pool or the beach. They have multiple uses. They were $10 each at Target. They're lifesavers. And then this is all of my, what's the word? Why do I want to say supplements? Toppings, I guess, that go in the drawer or in the side drawer, except for the yogurt. Yogurt's like a milk. These go in the side drawer. So that's where those go. Organize them as you go. That way, when you go to open the refrigerator, mine will yell at me if I have the doors open too long. And if I'm trying to organize them all while I'm trying to put them away, it'll end up yelling at me. I'll end up having to wait 5 minutes for it to cool down. Not 5 minutes, I'm being dramatic, but I'll have to wait for it to cool down and then I can open it again and start over. Also, on top of all of this, what I'm doing is I'm pulling out the items that I will automatically meal prep. These, I actually am going to show you guys a container. These are all my veggies. They will all be cut up today because if I don't, I will never find another 5 minutes again. They will end up going bad. I will not eat them. If I meal prep them today, they will be snacked on. The likelihood of them going bad or me eating an unhealthier option will not be so because these are already cut up, ready to go. So this stays out. I do not even put it away because I'm planning on meal prepping it, as well as the pineapple, cantaloupe, and grapes. As you can see, I also went ahead and organized it by taking out the certain bowls that I'll be using. And when I go ahead and clean them and I pick them all off, I already have my bowl ready to go, as well as other Tupperwares ready to go too. Except I'm excited to show you guys the new Tupperware I got for my veggies and fruits. So I'm gonna go ahead and put everything away and I will be right back. All right, y'all, here it is. So this is my pantry. I'll show you, like it's one of these long cabinets. And we'll show you how I do this. So, to some, it may look chaotic, but I promise you again, there's organization to the madness. These are my 3 things for breakfast. If you've watched my, what I feed my kids for breakfast, I don't remember what I named it, but that is why these 3 are together. Mama's snacks, the Pop-Tarts and chips are my husband. I wish they were for me, but they are not, unfortunately. I keep his work, he just grabs us, a pack of chips for work. That's all back there for him. We got just a little bit of cereal and some Ritz crackers up here. This is my meals drawer. So all of my dry goods right up here. And then my cans back here. Now these may look unorganized, but I know that they are grouped in meals. So the chili is here, green bean casserole is here, the carrots are for one meal, and then my taco stuff is up here, and that's it. That's all I have. The breadcrumbs and pasta sauce are for meatballs that I'll be making. And then those are these are actually really good toppings. They're kind of like the fried onions, but jalapenos, and my husband loves them. Next, this is just my miscellaneous drawer. I keep all my party supplies back here just because it's just, there's just no, anyways, that's just back there. And then this is like, my husband goes through ranch like it's freaking water. So we have lots of ranch, our extras, peanut butter, our honeys, the fried onions for green bean casserole, and then chicken broth for pastas. And then, as my kids would call this, the holy grail, the snack drawer. Now, it doesn't look that full, and the reason being is because, you come over here with me. Oh, that's another tip. Put on comfy shoes when you're doing this. I wore cute shoes earlier that were red to go with my red, white, and blue. When I got home, I put my comfy shoes on. And yes, I know they're ugly, but I love them, so leave me alone. I have all of these over here out on the counter. The reason being is this is the meal or the snacks I need to prep. And I'm gonna put them all in these individual Ziploc bags, making it so much easier to grab and go. And again, you wanna work smarter, not harder. I could do this right now, or I could wait until all of my food is cooking, and then while I have that like gap period to wait while they're cooking, that's when I will make my snacks. That way I'm doing two things at once and being more efficient. So this will be a little bit more full. I have my trash and then my shopping bags. So now that that is done, I'll show you my fridge. This is about as full as it gets, pretty much. We only keep what we actually eat. So normally this whole top shelf is full of meals that I'm prepping. Right now I'm actually not gonna prep my meals because it is a holiday weekend. I have planned in advance that I will not need meals prepped because I'm gonna be busy doing holiday stuff. So I will not be prepping any meals right now, just pretty much prepping snacks, veggies, that kind of thing. All of my fruits that are easy grab and go. These are sweet potatoes. Another little trick is, I know that most of the time you think that to immediately wash all of your fruits. The reason I do not do this yet is because when you wash your fruits, they go bad quicker. The only fruits I wash immediately are my grapes, because I'm gonna be putting in the bowl and leaving that open as a quick, just grab and go. I'll show you when I do that. So I want them prepped ahead of time. But the blueberries, what I'll do is I will leave them how they came, and usually I use these for breakfast or whatever. I will grab a handful, run it under the sink water and rinse them off, and then put them on my kids' plates. That way they stay fresh longer. So I have my veggies, what I need to use first up here. These are actually a waste of money, the salads that are pre-made. But again, as you heard earlier in the video, these are a must for days that you're coming home and cooking and you need a meal. I also buy these for work on Saturdays. I can just take them to work. I really don't have the hands to take a ton of stuff into work, as well as our salon fridge is full. So this is much easier for me. Oh, my fridge is yelling at me. Okay, breads and deli meats, and that's it. So let me show you now how I prep my veggies. Okay, so even though I'm not prepping my healthy meals, I will be prepping dinner for another night. This is my freezer meals. And as you can see, I pretty much have double of what you would normally use. So double things of pasta, a little over 2 pounds of ground turkey, a giant thing of diced tomatoes, 2 cans of pasta, and what I will add to this is cheese as well as spinach. And then like, you know, seasonings and ground minced garlic as well to this. So I doubled it. That way I can make 2 separate freezer meals. And the pasta is now, so I have this set up and I have this, I'm boiling. So that way I can cook the pasta as well as my meals and be cutting my veggies all at the same time. Excuse my dirty stove. I cleaned my kitchen. It's gonna get dirty again while I'm cooking, but that's okay. It'll just be a quick, easy cleanup afterwards. So you want to be doing 2 things at once. I'm going to be cutting my veggies while cooking my freezer meals. There you have it as far as these go. Now when my kids are hungry, I can just grab one and go ahead and put some ranch right here, set it out, and they can just nibble on it. And they can help themselves because it's in bite-sized pieces that they can eat. My kids, they're old enough to eat, you know, a carrot this big or so. They would be fine. So, and then that's it. Also, these containers, you will see a video that I will upload next. But what I want to add to that is because I have them in 2 small containers, all these veggies, I can now nibble on this one. And let's say I forgot about a last minute get together, or a friend invites me over and I want to bring something, I will have another one on hand and I can just bring a whole veggie tray, throw some ranch in it, and then I am a good guest. So that's another benefit to these. To finish off this video, I will show you the finished product of my meal prepping, well, freezer meal prepping. And so what I did was I threw the pasta in there, then the tomatoes, then the pasta sauce, ground turkey, and then I sprinkled Italian breadcrumbs on top. When I do go to cook this, I will sprinkle cheese all over it and cook it in the oven for 350 degrees for probably 30 to 45 minutes if frozen solid. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I hope it was helpful. I know this was a long one, but just try my tips and I promise you will thank me later. Bye guys.